Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to TalkCrypto. As you join me on my drive, again, apologies for the shaky camera. The roads in the UK aren't the best, as some of you will know. Yes, so today is, what is it? It's Wednesday. I can't remember the date. Was it 13th, 14th, something like that. And Bitcoin is around about, what was it? From, I think it was just under 62k. So yeah, just sideways action as usual. Did my $1 a day, guys. Bitcoin dollar cost averaging, and I got, what was it, 1,983 sats. So yeah, I keep stacking the sats, so that's good. Hopefully you guys are doing the same. I'd love to know if you are. Have you been following the videos and you know about the $1 a day challenge? Let me know if you're also following and taking part. Yeah, it'd be good to know. What else? So in terms of news, interesting news actually that came out was the state pension funds are starting to allocate Bitcoin in terms of their portfolio. So that's quite a big thing, and whether that's going to sort of have a domino effect of other state pension funds also looking to do the same in America. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that. Again, have a Google it, have a read yourself, and see what you make of it. An update on my sort of research on the deflationary world. Some of you might have seen some of the previous videos. I'm talking about what does a Bitcoin world look like? What does it mean for everything? I've been reading, or should I say, listening to an audiobook from Jeff Booth. You'd have to forgive me, I can't remember the name, but I think he's only done one book, so I'm sure you can find that out for yourself. I haven't gone through it, I haven't listened to it all yet, and he talks a lot in terms of his podcasts that he goes on YouTube videos. I'd encourage you to follow them, but he talks a lot about this type of conversation about deflation, inflation, and these topics. Talk about inflation being theft. So I said I was going to go down the rabbit hole of trying to understand it and sharing any insights that I can with you. I watched a video where he was being interviewed yesterday, and again, I'll try and find the link and put it in the notes below. Forgive me if I don't. Again, I just do these quite quickly, so I don't spend a huge time doing thumbnails. I quickly make a quick, description, update the stats within the description, how many I got, every time I do the video. But other than that, I just try and bang it out. It's not because I don't want to provide quality or anything like that. It's purely because my time span is very, very small. I've got a regular day job, and I've got to make it efficient and make it quick and easy. Otherwise, unfortunately, these videos won't come out. So I hope hope that's okay. But also, hopefully it shows that you can squeeze things in when you think you haven't got time. So yeah, you just got to make time, haven't you? Like I'm making time doing these while I'm driving. He made a really good point, and it was really, really interesting. Because often we hear about Bitcoin being a deflationary asset. The value, and at first glimpse that makes sense. The value of Bitcoin is going up, it's become more scarce. People are losing their Bitcoins, and things like that. But he made a really interesting point. Is actually, Bitcoin is not a deflationary asset. It holds its value, and everything else against it is losing its value. And I thought, actually, that's a very, very good point, because yes, there's an element of, it's not deflation really, but people losing their coins. The miners are still mining Bitcoin, so technically it's inflating until it's actually had its full supply, until it's full that allocation of Bitcoin is in full circulating supply. In other words, the 21 million Bitcoins have been fully mined and minted, and they're in supply. Once that happens, then obviously there's no more Bitcoin, and that's it. You could argue maybe as people lose their Bitcoins over time, then it becomes slightly deflationary. Yeah, I get that, but ultimately, the point was Bitcoin is not deflationary. It's not. There's no supply demand. There's no printing more Bitcoin. But ultimately, the reason the value of Bitcoin goes up is not because of Bitcoin itself. It's actually because it's everything else is losing purchasing power versus Bitcoin. And he made a really, really interesting point that when people are in the fiat world comparing the Bitcoin world, it's like two different ecosystems. It's like two different mindsets. They can't, particularly from the fiat world to the Bitcoin world, they can't understand or comprehend or even see what's happening. And an interesting example that he made was talking about how, for example, and again, he comes from a technology perspective because he's a tech founder, tech startup founder, and he's had multiple businesses that he's had within the tech space, sat on board, and possibly still does, etc., etc. So he's been in the tech space for a long, long time, and he made an interesting point that how, for example, Blockbusters, they couldn't see the challenge that Netflix happened because they were in their bubble. They couldn't step out of their bubble to comprehend in their mind the change that was happening. And even if they possibly could step out, the infrastructure, the systems, the processes that they had in place, they just couldn't do anything about it. And when people come from it from a fiat world and they're stuck in their little bubble, they can't always get their head around it. And that's why tech, obviously, and Bitcoin will disrupt, because all of a sudden things happen again, like Blockbusters and Netflix. All of a sudden something will just come out and just eat it. And this is the point with Bitcoin. A lot of people in the legacy systems, legacy world, whether it's financial or whatever, government, institutions, they're in their bubble. They have their own vested interests. They cannot comprehend, and they cannot get out of their little bubble to consider another world. But that other world is coming. That other world will eat the legacy system, just as Netflix did to Blockbusters, just as a lot of technology companies do to old legacy businesses. Businesses come and go until something better comes along, and Bitcoin is that thing that's coming along and that's going to just eat and demolish everything. But it was just a really interesting, going back to the inflation deflation perspective, it was really interesting because it was really interesting, the perspective of actually Bitcoin is not deflationary, it's just a sound money, and everything else is losing value against it. So that was just a little nugget I wanted to share with you, just to sort of consider yourself and think about. But other than that, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Shorter video than usual. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and keep tuned in for more. I'm listening to Jeff Booth's book. I highly recommend that you maybe explore the inflationary, deflationary worlds, and just imagine what a Bitcoin world would look like, what the consequences, how does society function in that world. It's interesting when you start looking into it. So I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to crack on. I'm sure you are too, and I hope you have a great day. I'll catch you later. Take care.